welcome to my podcast. This is my second episode. I just interviewed Zach Bravo from Hamilton. So, uh, for the first part, please explain a little bit about yourself for people who don't know who you are.
Sure. I'm Sean McManus. I'm from New Jersey. I am an actor who is currently in the national tour of Beetlejuice. I did the Broadway company of Beetlejuice when it returned after the pandemic at the Marquee Theater. And before that, I did the Cats national tour with Zach Bravo, actually. So I do know him, and he's a very good friend. And yeah, that's pretty much a little bit about me.
And you're leaving Beetlejuice Sunday.
Yes.
Uh, are you happy or sad?
It's bittersweet. I mean, Beetlejuice has given me so much in my life, and I am so grateful for it. And at the same time, I'm just ready for a different experience. So it's bittersweet for sure.
How long have you been with Beetlejuice? You said since
Uh
the pandemic.
yeah, so since May of 2022, so about a year and a half.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, when did you realize you wanted to be an actor?
I realized I wanted to be a performer when I was really young, probably like 7 or 8 years old. I used to go to Paper Mill Playhouse to see a bunch of shows. Um, they did Newsies there when I was younger. And when I saw that show, I had just started dance classes and knew that I liked singing and dancing. And then seeing that show really affirmed my love and my desire to pursue this as a career. So I've known for a long time and I've never doubted it, which I think is the key.
And with Paper Mill, was that Jeremy or Coy?
That was Jeremy.
Jeremy? So
Yeah.
it's not like the original before Broadway.
Uh-huh.
And correct me if I'm wrong, were you in Newsies as well?
I was in Newsies regionally a couple times when I was in college. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So you also got to be in that experience.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Not just Beetlejuice, but what has been your favorite role you played and why?
My favorite role that I've played is Tobias in Sweeney Todd. I got to do that in high school. We literally did Sweeney Todd high school edition, and it
That's
was yeah, it was really fun though, and I love everything he gets to sing, and I think doing Sondheim as a younger person helps you get a much deeper and more thorough understanding of the art form. He is a very complex writer, and it's difficult to tackle his material when you're at a younger age, but it's also a great challenge, and it really ignited my love for complex lyrics and complex melodies and all of that kind of stuff.
I think performing Sondheim is one of your when you're younger is a really good experience into getting theater because Sondheim, like you said, is very complex, and his writing it always has some meaning that you have to like find and actually have to study it, which is
Absolutely.
actually really interesting.
Right, right.
And with his final show, the one that's being performed right now, I was really hoping to go to see it, but I heard it's not like good, not good, but like it's good, but it's not Sondheim because Sondheim would change last minute,
Right.
and so performing that in high school, and you said that was a high school edition.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. What has been your favorite stop on tour and why?
I loved Boston because I went to college there. I went to Boston Conservatory for musical theater, and I love that city. It has a similar feel to New York, but it's not as hectic and crazy. And the arts scene in Boston is off the charts, and I there's so many different neighborhoods to go to, and I got to meet up with old friends, so that was really fun. I also loved Los Angeles. We got to play the Pantages Theater, which is historic and iconic, and LA was great because it's similar to Boston. Like you have all these different neighborhoods and there's so much to do. And we got to stay in both of those places for a couple weeks. So I think those are my favorite cities.
That's awesome. What do you think of Chicago?
I loved Chicago. Chicago is is it, first of all, I got to do the architecture tour, so that was awesome. and it gave me a huge appreciation for the architecture and the city's history, which was great. I loved all the restaurants that I got to go to. And I got to see Boop while I was there, which was really cool. So
That
there's so much theater in Chicago that theater is really embraced there, which is a great thing.
how was Boop?
Incredible. So good. I saw the first preview, and when you go to see a first preview, you expect it to be a little messy because
Yeah,
sometimes it's the first time it's ever been performed in front of an audience. But it was so clean and so polished already. I was so impressed. I can't wait to see how it grows and evolves throughout the next couple weeks.
and I've heard it's apparently this is a pre-Broadway premiere now,
Yeah, yeah.
which is crazy to think that it starts in Chicago and it just goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice for kids who want to become actors?
I would say training is the most important thing. I understand that in terms of access, sometimes training is difficult to find or can be expensive, but any place that you can find an opportunity to hone your skills is very, very important. I also encourage everybody to take all three disciplines if they can, to take acting, singing, and dancing, because you don't have to be a master at all three of them, but the more skills that you have under your belt, the more employable and the more marketable you become. And I think that some people say, you shouldn't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. But I think in our industry, if you're only good at one thing, it pigeonholes you a little bit. So my advice is to train as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and try to apply that throughout auditions and workshops and anything that you can find.
That's awesome. If you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
I think I would tell my younger self to trust the process, because sometimes when you're a professional actor, you don't know what's next. In fact, oftentimes you don't know what's next. And I think I'm a big believer that things happen for a reason. And I think that the right job will come to you at the right moment, and the right job for you won't pass you by. So as long as you invest in the process and you trust that things will work out, then you'll be a lot happier in the long run.
That's awesome. And uh, from Beetlejuice, what is your favorite line from the show? It can be from a song, it can be your character, like an ensemble line, it could be anything.
I love how much comedy is infused into Beetlejuice. So there's a line, I gotta get out of here, really live, really connect. Um, I gotta find my kind of people, socially liberal but fiscally conservative. I think that line is so funny, and it's political in nature, but it's not disarming for people. I think a lot of people can relate to that line, and I think that they disguise a lot of like political undertones in a very creative way in Beetlejuice. So I really like that line. I also really like both of you are dead in the dirt, but next you're going to be bringing the hurt. So Adam, you should take off your shirt. Why? Because please. I like that one a lot too.
Yeah, a lot of them are like, for kids, it's funny, but then it just flies right over their heads. It goes
Yep,
to the parents.
absolutely. Yeah.
And you cover a lot of characters, and so what is not the problem, what is the hard part of playing multiple characters for one show?
I think the hard part is figuring out a way to make them all different, because you're right, we play up to 6 or 7 people throughout the show, and each of them has to have a different feel and a different meaning and a different intention. So I think it also comes down to what the scene needs, and your job as an actor, especially in the ensemble, is to service what the tone of the scene is. So as long as you match that, then you're probably on the right track.
And what is your favorite role you play in Beetlejuice?
I like being the Beetlejuice clones during Beautiful Sound, because there's not a lot of opportunity in musical theater where you just get to be super silly, wacky, crazy. There's kind of no limitations when it comes to that number, because Beetlejuice is all of those things. And I love playing with the rest of the dancers in the ensemble. We have a great time every night, and every night it's different because we bring something new or something fresh from that day into the scene, and you never know quite what you're going to get. So I love doing that. I also really enjoy playing one of the dead football players in the Netherworld because I get to play like a dead jock, and that's really fun.
That's awesome. So basically, for Beautiful Sound, it's not like it's kind of like improv every night, you would say?
Yeah, and improvised within a structure. Like the whole thing is very choreographed, but in terms of the noises that you can make and the interactions you have between the other Beetlejuice clones, that part of it is more on the improvised side. But as far as movement and choreography, that has to be very structured because there's so much going on at once that if we went too off the rails with our movements, then people could get hurt. But we definitely keep it fresh in terms of, how we play with each other and like the lines we say back and forth during the chaos and stuff like that.
That's hilarious and cool at the same time. What was the audition process like for Beetlejuice?
I went in for the tour first, and I was auditioning for the ensemble, and I ended up doing a couple rounds of callbacks where you do a combo from the show and then you sing 16 bars of your own song, and then they cut it down to fewer and fewer people each round. And then after my last round of auditions, I got an email from my agent when I was still on Cats, and they said, hey, they would like you to be a vacation swing in the Broadway company before you go out on tour. So I didn't know that the Broadway production would be in the cards for me. I didn't know I was auditioning for it, but somehow, the the stars all aligned and I got to make my Broadway debut before I went out on the road with the show.
How was making your Broadway debut?
It was amazing. It was super magical. I had all of my family there. I had lots of friends there, and Alex Brightman and Elizabeth Teeter are class acts. Like they are leads of this show and, could totally just be focused on what they have to do. But they went out of their way to make my debut feel really special. They even like brought me to the center of the stage during the curtain call and let me have my own little bow, which was so special. I mean, they were so gracious to me. The whole company was, the whole Broadway cast couldn't have been nicer to me. And it was a really great way to make my debut.
That's awesome. Well, we got the question part done, and so since we have a little bit of extra time, this is the part where we usually do guess the lyric from shows people have been in. So it's
Okay.
actually Hamilton. So with you, I have lyrics from Newsies and Beetlejuice.
Okay.
So this one comes from Act One of Beetlejuice. Nobody is bulletproof. I look out. I eat clean. Jesus passed a Dramamine.
Time to face the brutal truth because we're all on a hit list, might not live till Christmas, jokes to death. So, whole being dead thing.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, nice.
Alrighty, and then the next one is from Beautiful Sound. I thought I had Beautiful Sound on here. Okay, I guess not. I don't have Beautiful Sound, but I have Say My Name.
Okay.
And I can be the worst, know the best, know the worst. We can be a team like the world has never seen, but you gotta free me first.
Well, I actually don't know that one because that seems like an older iteration.
It's so Lydia, don't off yourself, just stop yourself. I can help you stay in the game. Together we'll exterminate, assassinate.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, that was probably pre-Broadway. That
Oh,
was in DC. So, and I didn't know that. That's awesome. I didn't know that that was the lyrics.
yeah. So that's cool that it's on. It has like I guess on the Google it has like all the versions of the lyrics too.
Nice. Very
So
cool.
this one's from Newsies. Ain't it a fine life carrying the banner through it all? A mighty fine life carrying the banner tough and tall.
When that bell rings, we goes where we wishes, something dishes, washing dishes. So carrying the banner.
Yes, it was Wheeze as free as fishes.
Weeze as free as fishes. Got it.
And Newsies is an awesome show. I did it, and I was Pulitzer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
it was Newsies Junior, so I got to play Pulitzer. It was my Newsies was my dream show to do, and so I did
Oh, that's
Pulitzer.
awesome.
Yeah. So, and then this one's from Beetlejuice. uh lift 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch.
Daylight come and me one go home.
Is that a song you in?
Yes.
Uh, I didn't see this question. What's the difference from the Broadway version and the tour version of the show? Like, is the difference of set or costumes or anything like that?
Yeah. So in the Broadway production, there was a pig puppet that, fun fact, was always puppeteered or maneuvered by the Girl Scout. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So whoever was playing the Girl Scout that night, they would be in the pig cart uh maneuvering it around. So that was in the Broadway production, but in the tour version, we still do the shrimp hand puppet. Um and then we do where Lydia and Barbara and Adam basically make everybody do a tango instead of the
Wow.
pig. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a more structured dance than the pig usage that they had.
And
I love.
do you still have the sandworm?
We do have the sandworm, yes. Sandy the sandworm has been in every show of Beetlejuice, which is awesome. We do have the sandworm. It appears a couple times, once in the first act, then the opening of the second act, and then at the end when it, spoiler alert, swallows Juno.
That's awesome. And is it just controlled by a machine or like a person?
It's controlled by a person, yeah. So our head of props is actually inside of the puppet that's and maneuvering its mouth to open and close. And then
So
there are people behind it that push it on and off.
it has to be pretty lightweight then.
Yeah.
Because from the audience, it looks pretty heavy and pretty sturdy too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy how just like by painting it, making it look like it can look pretty realistic.
Absolutely. It's amazing what the props and set crew have done with our show.
And then final thing was I think the death of Adam and Bubba, correct? That's a little different than the show.
Yes. So if you remember from the Broadway production, they used to fall through the floor into a trapdoor. And now on Broadway, they get electrocuted. So they you know, are uh playing with some plugs in the walls and this and that, and then they end up accidentally electrocuting each other.
And uh, who's playing Beetlejuice currently?
His name is Justin Collette. He was also Alex Brightman's replacement on School of Rock, which is crazy that they've like
That they've
shared
played,
a
yeah.
bunch of these roles. Yeah.
Alex Beitman. It's crazy because he's kind of like the uh I'm blanking out the guy who played the Grinch, Jim Carrey. He's kind of like the Jim Carrey of theater. He can play so many characters and do so many voices. It's kind of crazy because you're like, oh wait, he was in School of Rock and now he's playing some demonic hip hop dude. Like
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
it's crazy what a little makeup can do.
Absolutely. And he's such an amazing talent. He's really a special person.
How long did you get to work with him?
For like 7 months, so a pretty long time. He is amazing. Like he's such a great guy. We still keep in touch every now and then. He's wonderful.
That's awesome. Well, time's running out, so I'd like to thank you for joining. And Sean is in Beetlejuice until December 3rd, so go catch him if you can. And yeah, so have a great rest of your run.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And once this video is edited and uploaded, I will send you the link and you can post it. You can share it with whatever who you want. And
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.